Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Sunday, July 14th at midnight. You're looking at the next 12 hours on the New Orleans coast. Many people thinking this storm is over, but the next 24 hours brings 2 feet of rain all the way up to Alexandria. And check out the next 3 days. Heads up, Jackson, Mississippi. You're about to get fluxed. Grenada, Little Rock, Arkansas. We're talking record rainfall totals. All straight up to Mississippi. So this means that the effects of this rain 2 days from now are not going to be felt until 5 days from now in New Orleans. So starting tomorrow, the flash flooding begins. The day after that, the river crests, the levees break, and we're looking at an ongoing catastrophe for the next several days. We hope you're prepared. We don't want you to get your panties in a bunch. We want you to keep calm and dab. It's boom time, kids. Barry makes landfall in Louisiana as a hurricane. Cat 1, 75-mile-an-hour winds quickly downgraded to a tropical storm as winds died down to 65 and so on and so forth. When they say go, I go, Barry evacuee says. Joyce Weber, 64, has been sleeping on a cot, hopefully smoking pot, surrounded by her neighbors in a shelter in Baldwin, Louisiana. She lives in a trailer surrounded by trees, and she didn't feel it was safe to stay there. And you know what? A tree actually hit her house. Her son stayed behind in the trailer and told her a tree fell onto the trailer but did not cause major damage. But she's lucky, and that trailer may wash away in the days to come because we are only getting started. And let me share this with you while we dab.
The National Weather Service just issued a brand new advisory for Tropical Storm Barry. I want to get right to meteorologist Chad Myers in the CNN Weather Center. Chad, I know you're digging into the new information. What are you learning?
Anna, the numbers are now 65 miles per hour for maximum sustained winds. And I think what the biggest takeaway from this 5 o'clock advisory is going to be, if you look at the satellite presentation here, 95% of this storm is still in the Gulf of Mexico, even though the center of this storm is on land.
Now, let me interject here, and I'm sorry I didn't prevent that echoing from happening. But what he's saying is making complete sense. And let's come over here quickly to Windy and just show you what's happening. There has been no rain up to this point except for a small portion of the coast here where no one lives. And in the next 24 hours, that's going to increase. And that's going to be going up the Mississippi River Valley. We're talking 2 feet or more of rain. And as the next 3 days progresses, this 18 to 24 inches of rain is going to move up through the map area here. It's the wrong way. I didn't want to do it that way. So you can see that it's going to be continuously taxing the Mississippi River Valley and the drainage system here. And this is all going to be headed south to New Orleans, where the people there are so stubborn and uneducated by the powers that be that they think that this is now the center of circulation is up here near Natchez or Alexandria, and they think that they're free and clear in New Orleans. This rain is going to continue to pummel you. Even if you don't get rain in New Orleans, it's raining up in the valley here. This is all this water is coming your way, New Orleans. And like I predicted back in 1993, the city would be underwater. It's happened once. It's about to happen again. And we're going to watch it over the next 3 days. No one is reporting on the catastrophe that's unfolding, except the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. I haven't heard one source talking about the catastrophe that is unfolding. Maybe this guy.
The northern half of this storm has never had a lot of activity with it. But now, as the storm moves to the north, guess where the southern half is going to be? Right over parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So as the storm moves north, that part that's down there is going to rise onto land. And that's where the rain is going to come from. Heavy rainfall still, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, expected tonight. You can't even see the rain that's actually occurring here because it's too far away for the radar to see. The radar is just going over the top of it because the land falls away because, well, the earth is round, if you didn't know that. There is the radar, and I'm going to take you on a wider angle and show you that there's so much more out here that the satellite can see, but the radars can't see. And all of this has to come up onto land. And that's why the rivers are going to rise. And that's why we're going to see significant, almost 20-inch rainfall totals before it's all done. This is finally tomorrow at 9 a.m. Probably still 50% of the rain still offshore. So another half of a day or so after that before we actually get the significant rainfall still to come here on the graphics. Some of these are going to be in the 20-inch rainfall, and still Baton Rouge, Lafayette, even just west of Kenner, much more rainfall to come, at least 5 to 10 inches there. Somewhere along this spine between Baton Rouge and Lafayette, there could be easily 15 to 20. Still.
He said it easily 15 to 20 inches. We've been predicting this for days. And it's coming out from CNN. Barry makes landfall in Louisiana. Joyce Weber has evacuated, made a smart choice there. You should make a smart choice as well. Because the days that come, do not go back home. Do not go back to the coast. This is going to continue for days in this area. Barry continues to weaken, but significant flood risk remains for the lower Mississippi Valley. I just showed you the facts. We don't need to read this sharticle to tell you that it's the major danger is looming. It is not happening now. The storm has passed you in Louisiana. Everyone's like, oh, we're all fine. Well, that is not the situation. While Barry is no longer a hurricane, the risk for major flooding will remain, as up to 2 feet of rain is expected to inundate parts of the Mississippi Valley into Monday, which will be your fun day, because the levees will be breached and your city will flood. Officials performed swift water rescue on Saturday. A storm surge flooding inundated the Louisiana coastline just east of where Barry made landfall. Tide gauge at Alameda Pass measured storm surge of 7 feet Saturday afternoon. So we're going to be continue to report on this. Stick with us. It's unfolding. AccuWeather predicts the total damage from Barry will be 8 to 10 billion. It hasn't even hit land, and they're already quoting numbers. Someone's cashing in on this one. Diana Moreno carries a sandbag as she sharts her pants. Oh my God. AccuWeather estimates the total damage and economic loss caused by Barry will be 8 to 10 billion. That's 8 to 10,000 million. Holy sh! Based on analysis of damages expected from the flooding, which has not even begun. People think it has started, but apparently they just sharted. This is through July 28th. Okay, we're sitting at the 13th, kids. So you're going to see the first 20 inches of rain hit that region of Louisiana through Monday. That's Monday right there. And it is going to get hit again and again. And this is all the way up the Mississippi Valley, straight up the pike. If you live in the French Quarter, you're fluxed. There'll be very little music playing on the bayou in the coming weeks. Trust me on that one. Don't take these predictions lightly. This is not an if, and, or but. It is a will and when. Yeah, you'll never feel like you're flying blind if you buy this infomercial. Do it now. Oh, we got to go back there. That's pretty hot stuff. You hear about the power outage in Manhattan? We're about to get to power outage US, where we'll see all the power outages across the United States due to Hurricane Barry, now Tropical Storm Barry, now Tropical Depression Barry. Manhattan just plunged into darkness. According to the New York Post, power outages hit parts of Manhattan, plunging subways Broadway into darkness. Now, I haven't researched this greatly or bigly, but power outages struck much of Manhattan for 5 hours Saturday evening, plunging subway stations, Broadway theaters, skyscrapers, and the like, the heart of the Big Apple, into darkness on the 42nd anniversary, nearly to the hour of the 1977 blackout. I think the powers that be are playing tricks on you, and they're gauging what's going to happen. Officials said some 73,000 residents were without power at the height of the outage, which officials preliminarily blame on the Upper West Side manhole fire. CIA. I said it, but I whispered it. I'm whispering it. I whispered it. Let's check poweroutageus.com. Loading the map. Are you loading the dab? Holy macaroni. Louisiana still the hardest in the red zone. Boom. Still in New York, 68,000 suckers without power, 122,000 in Louisiana. That number has increased from early this morning at about 100,000 and going up. And it's going to continue as flooding penetrates the northern zone and the Mississippi floods down south. These numbers will not be able to be quelched because the infrastructure police, the linesmen and such from the power companies are not going to be able to fix these lines anytime soon until the waters recede, which is not looking like anytime in your near future. And while 68,446 in Manhattan still without power. God knows what's going on out there in the dark. God knows. Yeah. Yeah, we have some connectivity issues, but wild weather. Sydney flights canceled due to gale force winds on the Big Island. Yeah, that's Australia. Sydney Airport is in chaos as flights have been canceled and delayed due to strong winds, gusts, and snow and cold fronts and other shit that happens in winter. And the bomb predicted that there would never be snow in Australia or the like. But ice and snow caused road closures across the state of Tasmania. As the state turns into a winter wonderland, Tasmanian police are reminded motorists to drive through the conditions with the tippy touch of snow preparedness. Over the weekend, the BOM is predicting snow around to the level of 500 meters. Tasmania police have advised motorists to slow down, pop on the headlights on, and leave plenty of room behind the buttocks for the boom boom. Heads up. I said it. Seismic update. Boom! No quakes of note. Wow, the whole planet's rocking. We have a rare quake here kicking off about 24 hours ago. 5.0 north of Jilal in Algeria. That's Algeria, north of Africa. In the Straits of Maessa. Yeah, or the Mediterranean. However you want to look at it, we still have major aftershocks in the Searles Valley of California near that ridge, crest, quake zone. Big boomer happened up here in fearmonger territory, 4.0 in Manhattan, Montana. Of course, Yellowstone's going to go off at any moment. Didn't you know that? Don't you watch the Cricket Lady and all the other fearmongers who have been completely wrong thousands of times and you still say they're 98% correct, you fucking idiots? Yeah, keep watching. Climate change in a climate of ignorance. Yeah, that's you. Without a doubt, human beings are doing grave damage to the planet, including the environment and the ecosystem. Starting in the 1970s, when rivers were on fire, PCBs were claimed from Monsanto to be completely harmless, and yet they have polluted the planet forever because they have no residence time, meaning they'll be here polluting the planet forever. Yeah, thanks, Monsanto. Recent reports not only at LouRockwell.com, but also alternative sites, including Zero Hedge, revealed the dangers, including mass death of ocean life and humans due to flesh-eating bacteria and other shit. And all this while you're being taxed for carbon dioxide and plant food. I mean, how are you living this fucking oxymoron and you go to work every morning? If you work for the industries perpetrating this lie, it's your fault, and I'm coming for you. Trust me. When the lights go out long term, you're fodder. Yeah, you heard me. Now, I am surprised that no one in the article blames climate change because it is a article as the cause. Yet the purpose of the writing of this piece is to show that while there are signs of environmental catastrophe looming, including the die-off of insects, the red tides, flesh-eating bacteria, and other plagues that are looming. The causes are unlikely to be anthropogenic. Did you hear that? That's amazing. Someone with clarity. Yeah. That is, man-made climate change has nothing to do with any of the destruction of our planet. And if you just have a moment of clarity and you wake up and smell the doo-doo, which is global warming, you might just get a whiff. And this is not a whiff, but it is a whiff of doo-doo. The one viable solution to climate change is to increase, alternative energy. We need to make better batteries, better solar panels, and better wind generators. That's what we need. Now, I agree with this 100%. We need to focus our energies on renewable resources. But coal and oil are also, unfortunately, probably renewable. And we're about to make some more coal in the coming decades, if you catch my drift. Yeah. Has your doctor talked to you about climate change? I hope your insurance covers it, because there's a new shot that you can get, which will cause you to be sick for the rest of your life and be a miserable prick. But it will help with the effects of climate change on your life. That's where we're at. If you don't believe me, that's the article. Want some facts? Do a dab.
And a questioner asked Professor Caroli the following. I saw the radio commentator Alan Jones on TV recently, and he said that 0.04% of the world's atmosphere is CO2. The questioner went on, and 3% of that is created by human beings around the world, and of that, 1.3% is created by Australians. The questioner said, is that correct? And if so, is human activity really making a difference? A pretty good question. Professor Caroli replied, not everything Jones says is factually correct. No wonder he stumbled in seeking to repudiate me. He went on to say that while it is correct that 0.04% of the world's atmosphere is carbon dioxide, quote, Jones's statistics around humans, I think he means human beings, causing climate change, and the role Australians specifically play is completely false. He said, I'm a climate scientist, and Alan Jones is wrong. All his other numbers are wrong. Now remember, he said 0.04% of the world's carbon dioxide was correct. The other numbers that the question referred to were 3% of that is what human beings create around the world, and 1.3% of that 3% is created by Australians. Caroli said, though, all his other numbers, they must have been those last two numbers, are wrong. Well, on the 25th of May 2011, I interviewed Professor Caroli on radio. Let me just play you an extract, very brief, of that interview. It was very courteous and very friendly. Just listen to this. Professor Caroli, good morning.
Good morning, Alan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Can I just begin firstly with a little bit of maths so that we can agree on a couple of things? Would you say it's unarguable that the level of carbon dioxide in the air is less than 0.04%? And if I make that point, because nitrogen we know is about 78, oxygen about 21, and then there's argon and things like that. But CO2 in the air about 0.04%.
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree that the UN IPCC Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says that of the Earth's annual production of carbon dioxide, this 0.04% that's in the air, nature produces 97% and human beings 3%?
Of the annual fluxes that go in and the annual fluxes that come out, yes.
That's it. So I just want to get this clear on maths, because you're the scientist. I'm not. 0.04% of the air is carbon dioxide, and of that 0.04%, 97% is produced by nature and human beings 3%. Now, of that 3%, all Australian human activity, transport, industry, agriculture, mining, power generation, that stuff, we produce 1.3 to 1.5%.
Yeah, Alan, you're absolutely right.
Alan, you're absolutely right. Can you believe that? Come check out this video. It's getting huge traction. And we're not going to show you this commercial, thankfully. The video is getting huge traction over at Sky News Australia. Published almost a month ago,
but they don't fall
and
off.
we still are watching commercials. Published almost a month ago. I want you to come over here, comment appropriately, even subscribe to Sky News, give them a thumbs up, and support them. We want to egg them on. They're actually providing facts, factual information, and people are commenting associately. So I want you to come over here and support Sky News for this awesome piece that they put up, because it's all about the facts, and we're about the facts here, right? It's boom time. So I want to share some more facts, including this little baby. Yeah. Just get a grip and just feel it. Feel the vibe. Now, if you're walking in nature and you feel this way, it's because of Shinrin-Yoku. But we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, just soak it in. Soak it in. 21 minutes, 21 seconds in. Anyone's guess what that means? The Deplorable Climate Science blog. Tony Heller and Toto on the web. If you don't know where the facts of the climate fraud are, they're right here. There's no other place. There's no other blog. There's no other leading authority that can back my bloviating ass up than Tony Heller. We got to get him on the show really quick. He not only is he doing all the things that I want to do, protecting the wetlands, calling out the deniers, giving us the facts. How about the annual 5-year acreage burn in the U.S.? Yes, wildfires are not increasing, they're decreasing. Yeah. Anyway, check out the Deplorable Climate Science blog if you want to know the facts. Check out 1,500 years of heat waves, 1970s global cooling scare, 61% fake data, accelerating sea level fraud and climate science, on and on. If you can't find it there, you can't find it anywhere, like swimwear. Egypt opens 2 of its oldest pyramids for the first time since 1960. Well, isn't that convenient? Now you get to see the shit that we've already stole and taken out of there for decades and repainted and made it our own story. Thanks, Egypt. I am not coming until after the grid's down, and then I'll be there. Yeah. Hey, check it out. Did you hear? Big breakthrough. It's the first ever photo of quantum entanglement. Yeah. Now, the billions of dollars that these pricks get, they continue to make the same thing over and over again. The black hole. Hey, remember the black hole? And every other thing they said was like a black hole and 2 stars and a neutron star. And here's a laser and a quasar and a phaser and a blazer and a blazar and a schmazar. It's all Taurus, man. It's electromagnetics. We live in an electro universe, and we're coming back to Doug Vogt, aren't we? Holy shit. The Hebrew alphabet describes this Taurus. And if you're not picking up what we're putting down, then you're not doing heart math. The same Taurus encompasses the human body. Now, a good friend of mine, top knot, Ryan Halgren, we've been having intellectual conversations recently, and he asked me a very important question. He said, Diamond, do you think the soul gets recycled? And is it independent of me? Well, I have bad news for you. The human biological entity is a plague. It's a parasite. It's a parasite in the mammalian form living on the surface of the earth. And the central nervous system has been genetically modified to tune in to your soul. And your consciousness is illuminating this biological entity through the Taurus. Now, the electromagnetic field of the heart, which is controlled by heart math, simple breathing. You can do this easily. Just Google heart math. But all I want you to do is learn how to breathe in for 5 seconds and out in a slow repetition. Now, I have a deviated septum, so I can't use my nose often, but you can do it with your nose or your mouth. It doesn't matter. And it's not deep breathing, it's metered breathing, almost like a synchrotron. So you want to keep the breathing metered. And what that does is it brings you into coherence. Now, if you don't know what coherence is, you can download the app and understand what coherence is. Coherence is the ability for you to make clear thought processes where the heart and the mind connect in a continuum, which is not achieved until you breathe. Trust me. I've been fighting this for a decade or more. And each and every day is a day of discovery. Forest bathing. How to commune with nature to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. Yeah. This is coming from Milford, Michigan. When I first heard of the term forest bathing, I immediately thought of bathing suits, clad hikers kicking back on lounge chairs in the middle of the woods. But that's not it. It's true science. And everyone wants to say that new age shit is hokey and blah, blah, blah. And Diamond's full of it. And we just got 50 thumbs down on our last update because of the Trump troll army and David Schlotthauer is now a global warmist. You know what? All of you people can suck it. Go away. We don't give a fuck. You're not going to affect my psyche. You're not going to affect my soul. I meditate daily. I get rid of all my negative energy daily. If you think I care that you hate me, well, you have another thing coming. Your hate drives me. It drives the love in my heart to drive the Taurus around my body. Yeah. It does. And we're going to be talking about Shinrin-Yoku really quick here. Matt Powers and I are going to be discussing this Friday. Forest bathing. He's never really heard of it, but he's experienced it, and he was very interested when I sent him the information on Shinrin-Yoku. Now, Shinrin-Yoku is simple. Listen, go to a forest. Do a dab. Walk slowly. Breathe. Open all of your senses. This is the healing way of Shinrin-Yoku forest therapy. The medicine of simply being in the forest. And for many of you, you don't have a forest, but you can grow one, even on a 1/4 acre. And nature's healing effects on your body and your mind are proven. And if you're interested in the topic, please watch Matt and I's podcast Friday night on this channel. Probably 11 p.m., 10 or 11. Now, the psychological effects of forest environments on healthy adults, Shinrin-Yoku, forest air bathing, walking, as a possible method for stress reduction has been proven. If you suffer from hypertension and stress and you're not walking in the forest, which, by the way, is free, then you've been brainwashed. Almost every place has a forest within 10 minutes. Even if it's behind the convenience store, stand in the woods, hug a tree, lie on the ground, take your shoes off, barefoot walk. Dig your fingers into the dirt. Smell the soil. Look for bugs. Get stung by mosquitoes. Do it again. Repeat. Live. Learn. Recover. Rejuvenate. The power of intention is everything. The placebo effect. What Jesus taught is true. I can heal people, you can heal people. You have to get to the right moment. Your Taurus is the energy field that is feeding this system. And another thing that's been feeding this system is the Crestone Energy Fair. Now, these guys are amazing. I really didn't know a lot about them. I heard about them a few years ago. But they're down here in the San Luis Valley, which you're looking at down here. And here is the ridge that forms the eastern edge of that valley. Crestone's up on top here. Now, the Crestone Energy Fair is been going on for years, time immemorial. And the 30th annual Crestone Energy Fair is happening this August 17th and 18th. Where on the 17th, they're going to be discussing sustainable building, energy production, wind, solar, air, etc. Bug just flew in my eye. And then they're going to kick it over on the 18th, Sunday, August 18th, and they're going to be talking about the spiritual solution. Energy systems. I'm pretty sure that means the Ebner effect and other amazing. Anyway, if you live in Southwest Colorado and you can make it to the Crestone Energy Fair, it behooves you to come here for two reasons. The first reason, this is cutting edge, regenerative, permaculture science. Sustainability that is earth friendly. That is what we're looking for. It's going to be necessary in the coming times. And these people have the most experience, 3 decades. They've been meeting and discussing through a mind meld this information. If you want to find like-minded people and you're looking for a place to go, then the Crestone Energy Fair is the only place you need to go. This is your end game. This is the last place you drive. If you only have $30 in gas, it's a one-way ticket. We call it a wicket if you're scared. But that one-way ticket, if you have the intention, will blossom into potential. And now a moth just landed on my neck. Holy macaroni. The wettest spring ever. And the wettest beginning into the summer. Times are changing. Climate solutions now for 7 generations. The Crestone Energy Fair is celebrating its 30th year this year. Diamond is going to be speaking, hopefully both days. One day on practical solutions to regenerative agriculture and housing and building techniques. And the second day, spiritual solutions to your problems, including self-healing, wild herbs and remedies, lost knowledge, Reiki, stretching, yoga, meditation. Do it now. Do it now. Come to the conference. Reserve your seat now because I don't even think they cost anything. But you have to get there. It's in the middle of nowhere, like swimwear. Get there. Get there now. I think that 73.5% of what Doug Vogt said was right, which is great because he's a scientist, and that's a very high percentage. But we all have a long way to go. Mainstream cosmology is insanely inadequate. What your children are being taught in school about cosmology is 100% false. We live in an electric universe, which I think if you've been watching the channel, we've proven to you over the last 2 years, including our field work in Moab. Now, the flat earthers want an alternate Taurus, which is similar to the reality, only different. It's fun. But just like a moped, you don't want to tell your friends you believe in it. You just want to rub shoulders up with them because they're all part of the club. I hope you're not part of that club, because we will club you in the future for food. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. We love each and every one of you. Now, some of our haters actually commented that you're anti-capitalist, Diamond. How do you have a store and a preparedness store and you sell books and shit? Well, you know what I say to them? You don't listen to a fucking word we say. We're anti-crony capitalism. The capitalism that is running your life through a shadow government and a worldwide conspiracy to control your mind has actually made you so retarded that you're actually supporting them. Crony capitalism is the control of the mechanism that puts the food in your fucking mouth and makes you sick and makes you go to the doctor and sticks the fucking injections in your arm so that your kids don't get sick and blippity bloppity blue. We've been around for 1 million years plus, Homo sapiens. We certainly don't need a fucking doctor to keep us alive. Because in my experience, doctors have killed my mother and every other fucking person I loved. My mother had cancer, but she died of a lethal dose of heroin in the form of legal pharmaceuticals. So you can go fucking kiss my ass and suck a dick, you bitches. Chemotherapy is for suckers. Cancer is in everyone, and it is being blossomed by the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah. And the food you eat. The mainstream media. The corporatocracy. The crony capitalism. The people you vote for are evil fucking pricks. They don't give a fuck about you. Why don't you wake up? Why don't you opt out? No one's coming for me. Except Greg Wynn, and he's going to jail for a long time. Haters are going to hate. The people that hate me are sick, which is why I'm continuing to do this program. I must be sick as well, but I'm getting better every day. Gratitude.